The chandeliers sparkled like frozen fire above the marble floors of the Palazzo Venezia, casting a golden glow upon the finely dressed guests below. Rome was humming with the whispers of diplomats, celebrities, and aristocrats, each draped in silk, satin, and confidence. But among them all, there was one man who stood out, not because of his attire or his status, but because of his laughter, booming, hearty, and utterly infectious. It rolled across the grand hall like a jubilant wave. He was known simply as the Jolly King. Of course, he was no ordinary monarch. King Leopold IV of Bellarossa, a tiny fictional kingdom nestled in the Alps, was the stuff of modern legend. Ruling more by charm than decree, his nation was famous for producing world-class cheese, award-winning wine, and an annual festival in which the king himself led a conga line down the royal palace steps. But this night, he was in Rome. The invitation had arrived weeks earlier, an exclusive reception held in honor of Rome's Spring Cultural Gala. The finest minds, artists, and nobility from around the globe were invited. King Leopold, ever curious and fond of festivities, had accepted at once. Now, draped in a bespoke purple velvet suit embroidered with tiny silver crowns, he strolled through the reception hall with a golden goblet in hand. It was not just for show, he really did drink from it. The goblet, a family heirloom, clinked gently with ruby-red Chianti as he sipped and chuckled with an ambassador from Argentina. "Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. My dear Ambrosio," he said, slapping the man lightly on the back. "Tell me again about the tango horse. Did he really learn to dance, or was it the wine that made him seem graceful?" Ambrosio laughed, cheeks flushed. "A little of both, Your Majesty, I think. But he did bow at the end, I swear it." "Then he's nobler than half the guests here," the king bellowed, drawing amused glances from nearby eavesdroppers. Waiters in white gloves floated around the room like snowflakes, offering trays of foie gras, truffle risotto, and candied rose petals. The king ignored them, for he had already found the culinary treasure of the evening. A tiny station near the west column serving fried artichokes dipped in lemon garlic aioli. He posted himself nearby like a guard on duty, popping one after another into his mouth with visible glee. "You must try these," he said to anyone who came close. "They are art disguised as food, or perhaps food disguised as art. Either way, they're divine." He was not alone in his enthusiasm. A young opera singer from Milan approached, her gown glittering like stardust. "Your Majesty," she said, offering a slight curtsy, "may I say your joy is more radiant than the chandeliers tonight?" Leopold looked her over with a warm smile. "And you, my dear, shine brighter than any soprano in the Sistine Chapel." She giggled. "Would you care to dance?" "But of course," said the king, downing the rest of his wine in one gulp. "Though I warn you, I only know how to waltz when I'm tipsy." The orchestra played a slow tune as the pair swirled across the floor, his large frame surprisingly graceful, his laughter rising like a counterpoint to the violins. The crowd watched, enchanted. "Who is he?" someone whispered. "A king? Surely not real?" "He's very real," another replied, "and probably the only monarch who sends holiday cards to his subjects with bad puns. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel." The dance ended to applause, and the king bowed deeply before excusing himself with a flourish. He made his way to the balcony overlooking the moonlit city, where a breeze carried the scent of spring flowers and the distant echo of traffic. There, he found a young journalist hunched over her notebook, scribbling madly. "Planning your escape?" he teased. She looked up, startled. "Your Majesty." "No, I'm just taking notes. I'm covering the reception for La Voce di Roma." "Ah, the voice of Rome," he said thoughtfully. "And what will the voice say about this evening?" She blushed. "I'm not sure yet. I've never interviewed royalty before." "Then consider this your lucky night," he said, leaning against the balustrade. "Ask me anything." She hesitated. "Why are you so happy? Most kings I've read about are brooding or stern. You're different." Leopold smiled. "Ah, but you see, I tried brooding once. Got a headache. Tried stern. Gave my dog a complex. I find joy is far more effective." She chuckled. "Is it hard? being a king. Not when your country is peaceful, your people fed, and your ministers mostly sober, he said. The hard part is pretending to be serious all the time. Which is why I don't. May I quote you on that? Only if you spell my name correctly. Last time someone called me King Leopard, caused quite the stir. He winked, and she laughed again, scribbling away. Back inside, the evening was heating up. Musicians had begun an impromptu jazz number, and guests danced with a delightful lack of decorum. The king returned just in time to be roped into a conga line led by a French countess in a feathered hat. He didn't resist. In fact, he took over, waving his goblet in time with the beat. Around midnight, the lights dimmed, and a toast was called. The host, a sleek Italian noble with a voice like silk, raised a glass. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. To Rome, to beauty, and to the eternal dance of culture and joy. Glasses clinked, but before they could drink, King Leopold raised his goblet. If I may, he said, standing tall, I'd like to offer a toast of my own. The room hushed. To laughter, he said. To the moments we forget we're supposed to be important. To artichokes and Chianti. To dancing badly and singing loudly. To finding joy not only in palaces, but in pizza, in pigeons, in peculiar conversations. A pause. Then, to Rome, where history meets mischief. The crowd erupted in applause, laughter, and the occasional hear, hear. He bowed theatrically, then downed his drink. By 1 a.m., he was on a terrace with a small group of musicians, playing tambourine and telling wild stories of Belarus's past, some true, some not, and none without flair. And when dawn began to whisper at the edge of the sky, King Leopold found himself once more at the artichoke station, munching quietly as the reception slowed to a dreamy close. The young journalist reappeared, notebook in hand. Your Majesty, may I ask just one more question? He looked up, crumbs on his beard. Of course. What will you remember most about tonight? He thought for a moment, then smiled. The way the night shimmered with possibility, he said, and that I never once felt alone. The next morning, the newspapers would call him the soul of the gala. His photo, laughing, dancing, sipping from his goblet, would grace headlines across Europe. But for the jolly king himself, it wasn't the glitz or the fame that mattered. It was the laughter, the connections, the beautiful, ridiculous, magical moment of being joyfully human, even if he was wearing a crown. Subscribe the channel to get such videos.